Hey, it's Emma Romano here, founder of the Thrive and Life Foundation, self-healing coach, and the midwife to your personal alchemy.
I am Kelly Bowen, founder of the Heaven Within Foundation, CEO of Lifestyle Finance Australia, finance expert, life and business coach.
And you are listening to Inspired Conversations,
where we talk about the things that really matter. Yes, we go there.
We share together what's exciting us, inspiring us, and having the most profound impact on our lives and our clients' lives. And we do this to elevate and inspire you.
We cover it all from life, body, love, relationships, trauma healing, addictions, business, money, and all things woo-woo.
So sit back, relax,
and get ready to be inspired and laugh the fuck out loud.
Welcome!
Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys. It's Em and
Kel.
So today we're together.
Woo-hoo.
Yay! We're on my couch in my healing room.
Where all the magic happens.
Well, that's the change couch. I like to call it the change couch.
I think it's appropriate for the topic we're talking about.
It is!
Couch
Ooh.
of transformation.
Yeah, I love that.
Alchemy.
I love that.
Yes.
So what we're talking about today is really, really fucking important. It's debt.
Mm-hmm.
And people's ideas and energy around the word, around the connotation, around debt.
Mm-hmm. And everything that we've been conditioned to around it.
So, for those who are really freaking enlightened and those who are holding this beautiful frequency with money, energy, will go, yeah, this is great, I love this. There's going to be some people who are really triggered by this. And I tell you, I was massively triggered going into that whole beautiful frequency around money and things like that. And I thought debt was the source of all fucking evil.
Yeah, me too. I was so
Did you?
conditioned into it. I never thought I would have a finance brokerage. Like,
Yeah,
oh no.
it's just a finance freaking brokerage, like crazy. And I use Cal's finance brokerage for my clients, for my practitioners that I teach, for all of it, right? And if I didn't, I wouldn't have the money that I have today, and my clients wouldn't have the personal growth that they've got today, and they wouldn't have that business transformation, that huge quantum leap in their business and their personal life if they hadn't had the support of debt.
Yes.
So if you notice, I just said the support of debt. So for me, debt isn't, oh, I've got to pay this thing off. Debt is help.
Sure is. So it's something that I come up against a lot within the finance brokerage. I've either got people that like absolutely love it. They get that the whole purpose of debt, or the frequency of debt, if we're talking purely energetic, it's the frequency of growth and expansion. And what I love about finance or debt is that it allows you to bring your dreams that are somewhere in the future into your now reality and experience it and quantum leap where you currently are and radically shift your reality if you understand what you're doing. So I always like the saying, know who you're getting in bed with. So, and when I think
it's always handy, peeps. Always handy. Keep it safe. It ain't on.
It ain't on.
And
I think like when I think about debt, there's been so much like marketing's a very clever, influential tool. So you will see lenders talk to the marketplace about consolidate your debt, get out of debt, get debt free, because they know that most people have debt. When they consolidate their debt, they will make money on the refinancing of it, and you as the consumer get a you get ahead because everything's in one repayment, the interest rate's lower, and you can pay it out a lot quicker, and you've freed up your cash flow. Amazing. I use it in my marketing too. However, what we're really talking about debt here is debt when it's used for education, or debt when it's used to create wealth, because debt essentially is a key component of wealth. And when you understand how to use it, which is essentially other people's money, to grow and expand beyond your current reality, that's where it gets really sexy. But because we've been so hypnotized by the mainstream marketing, we don't think about it like that. We think about it as this thing that we want to avoid. And then you've got to remember our parents' conditioning when they were dealing with debt back in the depressions and the recessions. They were having like 20-something% interest rates on mortgages. Like, it literally was a noose around their neck. And most people back then, they would just sign contracts away, not realizing what they were signing, or that what they were signing, the clauses in the contracts, gave the banks permission to do that. Whereas now, it's very different. And one of the things that I really like to do when I'm helping people sort of navigate this finance space is really educate them. So they understand what they're doing, and they understand, like, every kind of lending has its day. And most people can afford to spend $50 a week to radically change their life. But if you wanted to do, like, some of the more premium products, like some of the ones that you run, you could be looking at anywhere between $4,000 to $7,500, and then working with you privately in a that's going to be more. And most people don't have that kind of money laying around. However, they do have anywhere between $50 to $100 lying around that they mostly spend on crap, where if they redirect and repurpose that $100 or that $100, their return on investment by being able to access finance and invest it in their own personal growth and personal development is 10x. Like, I'm sure we could both sit here and tell, like, story after story where a client has come in and they've borrowed money, learned what they needed to, and then catapulted to the next level of their growth.
Well, I can tell you my story around finance. So in 2014, I was actually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And I was in a really, really bad way. I was diagnosed with optic neuritis, so I was blind in my left eye, celiac disease, chronic fatigue, and multiple sclerosis, all within 2 weeks.
That's such a brutal diagnosis.
Fuck, right? Full on. So I couldn't work, I couldn't do it. And that time I was coaching tennis. I was a tennis coach, and I was working as a receptionist and a cleaner, and I was also working behind a bar, pouring beers for the locals, right? So I had a whole lot of little jobs making really shit money. And for 3 months I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything. And then I got sick of being sick. Literally, I was bored of it. And I went to the neurologist, and they're like, yeah, no, you're going down real fast. So at this stage, like, I had no feeling in my whole right side had gone. My face had dropped. I couldn't feel my hands. So I could feel outside here, but I couldn't feel on the inside of my arms. It was, so I could hold things because I had muscle tone, but if I didn't see it, I would forget it and it would just drop out of my hand.
Wow, that's so scary.
So there was lots of pots of bolognese, like dinners were just gone. And the fatigue is the worst. If anyone suffered from chronic fatigue, I feel you, babe. I fucking feel you. That is the shittiest freaking thing, because, like, you can't even be bothered going to the toilet.
Wow.
Like, it's an effort to go to the toilet.
Far out.
Anyway, after 3 months, I went back to the neurologist, and I'm like, hey, when do I start getting better? I'm having all these fucking tablets, but I'm getting worse here. And they said, no, 6 months you'll be in a wheelchair. But get this, I was 44, just turned. They went, 6 months you'll be in a wheelchair. Go home, start arranging your life, ready to be in a wheelchair. You'll never go back to work. And the way I'm going, they said, look, roughly we were estimating about 2 years, you'll probably be put in a nursing home.
Far out at 44, that's 46.
At 46, I would have been in a nursing home, because I would have been too much for my husband to handle if he's working. Like, I would need 24-hour fucking care at the age of 46 in a nursing home.
Wow.
So I just went, fuck that. So literally I went, I'm making a decision right now. I'm not in agreement to that. I'm in agreement to something else. And the agreement that I made with myself was, 1, heal myself, or 2, I was going to check out. Because I didn't want that. I would rather be in heaven than fucking hell.
Hell. Because that is hell.
Exactly. And it would have been real hell for my family too. I would have been a burden and a chore instead of fun. Anyway, so I did. I healed myself of MS, but you know what? That took a lot of money. And I was earning 19 grand a year.
Wow.
I was making no money.
And doing all those jobs and only 19 grand a year.
Yeah.
Holy
It was
shit,
just little bits and
slaving
pieces.
yourself.
Yeah, I was a slave. I was literally slaving.
We're going to talk about breaking out of that in another episode.
Yes, yeah. We had. Let's do that. So anyway, I had to borrow money. So I healed myself of MS. That literally took, I don't know, $30,000-$40,000 I spent on going on workshops, cleaning up my diet, getting big health mentors to help me out. It was amazing. But we had to borrow the money. So I had to borrow the money from my mum, and then we had to remortgage my home. So we had to use finance. We had to use a lot of money. We didn't have it. And back then, my husband Anthony and I, we were shit with money. If we got $50 in, that $50 was spent.
Mm-hmm.
If we got $5,000 in, that $5,000 was spent.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then to educate me into what I do now, I had to borrow a lot. I spent $80,000 on my education,
So
which is the best 80 grand I've ever spent, because I know so much, and I've activated so much old knowledge from past lives. All of that has now been able to upload into my brain, which I can now share. So if I'd have saved that money up,
you'd be dead.
babe, I'd be dead. I wouldn't be here, because there's no fucking way I was going into a home.
Yeah.
And I even know how I was going to check out.
Oh wow.
I was going in a blaze of glory, mate. I was got cocaine.
What'd you wear?
Got a rubber bag. My fucking wheelchair.
So you get out to the door.
Yeah, come on. Okay, my own getaway car.
You need one of those Mip cars.
It's gonna hot it up.
Yeah.
Right, make sure the kids are all
on the back.
Yes, make sure the kids are sorted. Bury the money. Drive myself off a fucking cliff. Anyway, yeah, it's, we can laugh about it now because I didn't know that it happened, but I owed a lot of money. In the end, I think I owed like $120,000, which I've now paid off. But if I'd have waited for that, I'd be dead, or I'd be in a home, I'd be in a wheelchair. And not only that, even putting the MS side of stuff, I mean, look at how many people we've helped. I just think of all the testimonials that Kelly and I get all the time, like, oh my God, you saved my life. Oh my God, you've saved my relationship, you've saved my business. I can't tell you how grateful I am. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And I think none of those people would be in the state that they are now
if I didn't do that.
If we didn't go out and go, hey, I need a loan to get me in that fucking course. I need a loan to get me that mentor. I need a loan to get me that information. And I'm so grateful for the support and the help of finance.
Yeah. Because it's essentially what it is, and even now it would have paid itself off tenfold. Like, I still remember there were times where in business, like these are in the early days, and my back was against the wall, and I just had a few shit months, and I needed some support to get me to the next stage. And there was loans I was taking at 23.99%, which that's not a cheap interest rate. That's on like the higher end of the scale.
Yeah.
However, when I looked at the amount of interest that I was going to pay on that loan, if I took it to full term, and I think at the time it was like a 7-year loan, I would have ended up paying something like $7,500 interest if I left it the way it was. But if I didn't say yes to that and look at that $7,000 as gratitude for me being able to get somebody to invest in me in my dreams now, with no questions, no emotional guilt tied into it, just cool, do you meet the requirement, tick box, here you go, off you go. So if I hadn't have had that opportunity then, even with the interest rate at 23.99%, I would have been fucked. And I didn't just do it once, I had to do that twice before, in different parts. Like, I remember one time, even within the finance brokerage, I had this aggregator change going on, and again, just naive at the beginning of the journey, I didn't know when you change aggregators, they can get upset about it because the when I leave, that they lose income. So what they thought they would do was just not pay me for that month. So I had a whole month's worth of income for the entire business and staff to have to pay, didn't get paid. And I'd
wow.
I just didn't get paid. They just didn't pay me. They never paid me. Just went, you know what, we're going to keep that as to cut our losses kind of thing. And my naivety didn't really know any better. And the way that it wasn't a contract, then I had to wait for 12 months before that I could even go after them. And anyway, long story short, I, at that particular time, literally just torched $23,000. And I was so lucky at the time, another one, again, that I could get a loan that I could cover my business expenses for that month. And no, the interest rate wasn't great, but they would accept the situation, and they would give me the money, and I got to keep going. But if I hadn't had that, I would have been fucked. Like, no two ways about it. Like, I wasn't at the stage of business where I had a buffer. I was still in the early stages where it is a bit week to week, and there's a cash flow roller coaster, and things are a bit up and down. And I would have been so screwed. And I think one of the biggest things that, like, you've got to look at when you're looking at finance is the return on investment. Because sure, in terms of borrowing money, you are going to have to pay interest with finance, and there's fees. It's like death and taxes. It's pretty much unavoidable. You've got to pay it at some point. It's going to happen. However, when you look at that as gratitude payments to the investor who backed you at a time where others wouldn't, it's so minimal. And it's so worth it. And very rarely do we ever keep loans as long as the term. We pay them off fast when we save ourselves money that way. But when we think about it from that perspective, that it's been able to allow us either to continue on our growth or next level our growth, it's not such a big deal. Like, we're totally okay to go to university, and we're totally okay to have HECS for degrees that many of us never use. Like, the amount of people I know that went to uni that have degrees, they don't use them.
My son's just done it.
Right?
My son has a $48,000 HECS.
Yeah.
He's done 2 years of uni.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to do it.
Right? But
now he's got $48,000. He's 20 years old, and he's got a $48,000 debt. HECS bill.
It's insane.
Yeah.
For something that he doesn't want to continue with.
Yeah.
But we're okay with that.
But we're okay. I mean, it's so...
We're conditioned.
We're conditioned.
We're conditioned in... This is conditioned into us in high school. It starts at 16. How are you going to pay for uni? If mum and dad can't pay, no worries. Government will help you out with HECS. Totally acceptable. And you can just pay that off out of your wage. It'll come out of your taxes. You'll just pay a bit of extra tax until that's paid off. You're paying that thing off for nearly 10 years, and you're totally okay with it.
Yeah.
It's the conditioning. But when you actually think about using personal loan finance to invest in your dreams, into real life practical business skills or life skills, to have a better relationship with your body, to have a better relationship with your partner, to have a better relationship with money, to go next level in your business, you're like, oh no, I can't do that. It's ludicrous. It's insane.
I know.
But money's so cheap right now. I've never seen rates so low. Like, on average, we're financing anywhere between 6.445% to 9.99, and then if it goes above that, then there's usually some stuff on credit files. But like, it's so cheap. It is so cheap.
Yeah. You know, what I want to go into is around energy and frequencies. And you know, I find when this is what happens. So say you get a mortgage, right? You get a house, and you look at the house and you go, oh my God, it's the house of my dreams. I love it. I love it. I love it. Or you can even go as simple as a cute outfit. And you go, I want the cute outfit. It's so cute. I'm going to look so sexalicious in it. But you can't afford it. You don't have that cash to buy the big house or buy the $500 outfit or the $200 outfit, right? You don't have the money. But you've got, hey, I've got a credit card I can buy that outfit with, or I can get a mortgage. And you're so fucking excited about that. You're like, oh, I love my credit card. And you go, you get the outfit and you go, oh my God, I'm so grateful I can get that mortgage. I've got my house. Then some time comes down, you're paying that off. And we are so conditioned to sit there and go, fucking banks, you know, they own my house. No, you own your house. The bank helped you getting it.
Yes.
And what you're doing is when you sit there and you start hating on your credit card, or you start hating on the support system that's come off, that's wealth. That's part of your wealth. And now you're putting an energy into wealth. You're saying, you're an arsehole wealth. And then you're wondering why you're not manifesting like a queen or a king.
Yeah, and it starts off with that bit of entitlement. Because we all have the gratitude. We get the gratitude bliss in the moment, and we've got the instant gratification of like, oh, I've got that thing. But then we start to get resentful that we're making the payment. So there's the first part that's going into the frequency.
Yes.
Resentful about the wealth. Then comes entitlement of, oh, I shouldn't have to pay this, and I shouldn't have to pay the interest on it, and the entitlement. So what happened? And then we get shameful about it if we start to struggle with it because we've overextended ourselves. So when you've got resentment, you've got entitlement, and you've got shame and guilt mixed in with your wealth. and money likes to be around people that are joyful and playful and like to co-create, and they're inspiring. Like you can see where the frequency mismatch is. So it's so important that when we're using finance, that I always say, like, look, I'm all for the pretty things. I love the pretty things. I don't necessarily think they're credit cards or personal loan purchases. However, but if you're using debt for things that advance you, that'll give you a return on investment, like personal development, professional development, buying properties, getting, certain investments, that kind of stuff. It's really good use because you're going to get a return on investment that's going to 10x the interest that you're paying. It makes it null and void.
I've got to say, every time I've invested in my own business, last year I invested a lot of money in my business and I made it back tenfold.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I can make more money investing in and that's coaches, that's, mentors. When I invest in my business, I make so much more money back way quicker than I do investing on a house or a property or anything like that. That's a slow burn.
Way slow burn.
Very, very slow burn. Like you're looking 10, 15, 20 years down the track, you're getting, you get the benefits of it. But when you invest in your business and you do the work, let me just say, you've got to do the work, peeps.
Yeah.
It is, you get tenfold. But everything is energy.
Yeah.
Everything. And Kel was saying, if you've got shame around money, I mean, Kelly and I, we're constantly shifting through our shit. Don't think we're sitting here going, oh, baby, we got it all together. We got it a whole lot more together than we did maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, definitely 5 years ago.
But it's a process.
There's always a process.
It's a blooming flower. Like people like to use the onion metaphor, but I like to think about it as a blooming flower. And every time...
Can we do that again? You ready?
Yeah. But every time you go up a layer. So if let's just say your abundance is currently set to 6 figures, you're making 100K a year, right? That's your current level of abundance. When you want to go to 250K a year, that's a whole new flower you got to open. Yeah. So you might be functioning no problems down at 100K, but there's going to be other little threads and bits and pieces that need to get looked at here. And to take that jump from 100K to 250K, then there's going to need to be certain personal growth that needs to happen, certain professional growth. Like there's a really big difference. I'm sure that you can equate to this too. And like the difference between 100K in our businesses to 250K is a completely different ball game.
Oh my God, it's so different.
250 to 500K, again, such a different ball game.
So different. I tell you what, I always thought I'm gonna make it. This is my big proof that I made it. So when I was making 19 grand a year in my business, I went, I know I've made it when I make $100,000. Well, I made that $100,000 quite quickly. I also spent that $100,000 quite fucking quickly. Because I knew I could bring it in, but I didn't really know. I felt like I didn't deserve to have it. So I just spent it.
Yeah, and that's a really common thing too. And the other thing that comes really common with that is, oh, I've been without for so long. I want all the things, all the things, all the things.
Oh my God.
I'm going to reward me. That was mine.
That was nuts. So I made in my first big year, it took me about 3 years to make in my business, was $128,000. And I have one thing to show for it. It's at the front. It's that secondhand caravan at the front that cost me $7,000. I do not know where 121,000 went, but I started learning how that frequencies of money, and I'm really good with money now, and I'm learning how to be even better. But one of the caps that I found out earlier this year, I was like, I know I'll do really good when I've just got a cash stack of $100,000. And I got that $100,000 really quickly, and it's been sitting in my bank account in this beautiful, I call it the freedom account.
Perfect.
And the freedom account could have been then explained as I just capped you at 100,000 account because there was just no more. And I'm like, wow, I energetically capped myself at 100 grand. Making 500 grand, but that freedom account was only supposed to have 100,000. I went, hang on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
What if my freedom account now has 200 grand in it? So all of a sudden, when I agreed to, no, my freedom account's going to, I'm going to double it. I'm going to 100% it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have 200 grand in it. All of a sudden, the money just starts freaking pouring in, more than enough money, because that's just my extras.
Yep.
So my bills are getting paid, my mortgage is getting paid, everything's getting paid, but that's a stack of cash I've just got sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
It's brilliant. You know, it's for my future, it's for my freedom. And when people sit there and go, I just want enough, you've already got enough. You've already got it.
Raise
If
the
you've got a phone, if you've got somewhere to live that night, if you've got food in your belly, trust me, you have more than enough. Raise your freaking standards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
Can you share what you love to do when you say put all your debts here and then when you're
Yeah.
It's a
So
really
I'm
cool
gonna.
thing.
So before I jump into that, there's just a couple of other things that I really want to foundationally lay down about really shifting your perception and understanding and relationship with finance before we give you this exercise. So one is like just the proof of the amount of clients that I have had come through the brokerage where I've financed them into a 20K program. 3 months later, they come back and say, thank you so much. I just had my first $157,000 month. That blew my mind. But it was because they got into a business program and they were able to get what they needed to create that exponential growth. Paid out the loan, happy days, see you later. Then I've had others that literally started with a 10K product to start a business. And then within 6 months had paid that loan out, 12 months retired their wife, purchased caravans, traveling around Australia, done all sorts of cool stuff because they understood the value of getting the $10,000 now, using finance to then create something that is a sustainable, long-lasting asset. Like to start a business on $10,000, it's so cheap.
Oh my God.
So cheap.
Because
Like,
if you got a branch, like if you bought a business, if you actually went and bought a bricks and mortar business, it's about 100 grand to start with, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
If
At
you're
least,
buying a
plus stock
franchise
and the continued cash flow with it,
yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah.
But to have that, but being able to understand the power of using other people's money for your benefit, this is where it comes from. And then for those of you, like just being mindful that we are also talking to existing coaches who might already be working with finance or not, or thinking about it. The other thing that you really have to be mindful of from a frequency perspective, now I see this come through the brokerage as well, is that I'll have coaches who come through that they're looking at doing a program themselves and they need finance for it because they've either got the exact right amount of cash and if they'll pay for it cash, it'll wipe them out entirely, which is never a clever thing to do in business. In business, your cash flow is like oxygen. And if you've got the opportunity to pay for a $10,000 something that's $50 a week, do that and keep your $10,000 in your bank. It'll serve you 10 times. It's intelligent business. Rich people know this. If you look at any rich person, they have millions of dollars worth of debt, lots of assets, and they've got some of them that give a cash return. But the only time you will ever have a problem with debt is when you can't make your repayments. That's the only time debt is ever a problem. And you allow yourself to get resentful and entitled and forget about the gratitude and the appreciation. But with these coaches, where they'll go, oh no, I don't want to pay fees and interest, but I really like to use your services so I can give that to my clients. And my answer is, it's a frequency thing. If you don't think it's the best thing for you, your clients are never going to believe it.
Never.
You have to be in full alignment with it. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. And this is the difference between the ones that I see doing really well with finance and not, is that they fully embody that, yes, this is the right path. And then they grow really quickly because it also transfers onto their clients. Like with you, it's been exactly the same.
Yeah.
Everybody you've sent through has been phenomenal from that perspective.
Oh, they've been amazing. It's been, and then one of the best things I ever did was start finance for my clients. I never even knew it was a thing until last year.
Yeah.
It's only been a year and it's grown seriously. Like for me, I had to end up being the finance guy. You know when you do payment plans?
Yes, you are.
And you're mixing, it's not good for business when you're sitting there and going, hey, you got to pay me that monthly fee right now. It's $7,000 to say relationship sovereignty. I can have a client, a couple that come in and it's just, I get that money it's in my bank account, it's done.
It's done. And
I'm done.
do it.
And all I have to concentrate is my job. So my clients get better out of me. They get more out of me because the energy exchange is spot on. I'm never sitting there going, are they going to make this payment? Are they going to commit?
Yeah.
You know, because you can get clients, they can come in and go, hang on, I feel fucking amazing after the first session. I don't know if I need session 2 or 3 or 4. Like, you do.
You do, and that's why you need it.
Fucking do. Absolutely. We just pulled the scab off, guys. Let's go heal the pussy fucking wound. But you're not going to do that in the first hour. And that's when you do finance in your business and you get your clients to pay finance, they are so freaking fully committed to the process. But what else I love is this, where they pay monthly or weekly or fortnightly to the finance company, when they pay it, it reminds them of the frequency that you've had them in, and therefore it's even better because that frequency bandwidth, I might be over and done with my client in 21 weeks or
that's
12
sexy.
weeks.
I've never thought about anchoring that in, but that's amazing.
Yes, so it might be 21 sessions, 21 weeks, it could be 8 sessions. If they're still paying a year, 2 years down the track, they're still in the bandwidth of that energy. So it's an energy flow on. It's beautiful and delicious.
That's sexy. Because this is the thing that I've noticed with clients. Sometimes if they haven't paid or hadn't had in their mind that they paid for it in full, they don't allow themselves to fully receive until it's paid for. And with finance, they have that psychological, it's paid in full, and then I'm taking care of that. Yes. It also allows them to receive all of it from the get-go.
Yes.
It's the other cool thing about it. So shall we tell them how to get rid of it?
Yes! So Cal's got this really freaking cool thing. It's get a pen and paper.
Yeah, so this is going to help you tidy up any sort of vibrations you've got around the entitlement, around the resentment, and around the guilt and shame when it comes to finance. It's a really simple exercise, and we're going to shift it from that into appreciation and gratitude and possibility. So what you want to do is you want to have a look at your accounts. I know for some of you it's going to feel uncomfortable, but you need to look at your accounts and you need to take stock of like what's your debt. What have you got on credit cards? What have you got on loans? What have you got on car loans? Whatever it is, mortgages, whatever. Just list it. And then you're going to start to create an intimate relationship with it. And how you do that is then you're going to list all of the cool stuff that this debt has allowed for you. And for those of you that go, I've got a mortgage, bought a home. That money didn't just allow you to buy a home, it bought you the memories, it bought you, think about all the dinner parties you've had in that home.
All the great sex you've had in the bed.
Right? All the amazing things inside the house, all of the amazing people that you've had come and stay, those first moments that you've had there. It's not just, I got a house, go deeper, push yourself. What experiences have you had in that home that will be with you forever, for a lifetime? That's what that mortgage is providing for you.
Yeah.
And when you can start linking that to the repayments, then it becomes about appreciation and it becomes about love. And then as soon as you shift that, you'll find, wow, my interest rate went down, or wow, I've got more in the offset account. And then for those of you that have personal loans, credit cards, again, list all the stuff that you've bought. If you're I don't know what I bought, look at the statement. It will tell you. And then get present to it, not just not the what, but what did that allow you to then experience? What was the memory associated with that? With that particular dress purchase, if you have purchased stuff like that on credit card, or holidays, or whatever it is, or education courses, what did it then allow you to experience? Not just what was it, because it's when you connect with the experience, that's when you bring the appreciation and the gratitude, and the whole thing shifts. And if any of you are I've got so much and I want to consolidate it and get it cheaper, by all means, feel free to get in contact with me. Totally happy to help you do that and get it really cheap for you and all into one nice, neat repayment and tidy up your accounts. So that's really it. Get a list out all the debt, list what it was and all the cool experiences that you've had with that thing. And that's how you shift out of the resentment, the entitlement, the guilt and shame, and it becomes appreciation, love, excitement, and gratitude. I think I said gratitude. Maybe double up on the gratitude.
Double up on the gratitude, guys. Why not? And you be really grateful to yourself that you're able to repay the payments too, that you're bringing in the cash to do it. Because it's all energy. It's all a frequency. If you've got a shitty frequency around it, you'll get shitty.
Yeah.
If you've got a great frequency around it, you'll get great.
Yeah.
It's actually so much easier than you think. And
It's
it all
such a
starts with
frequency
you.
game.
It is. It is a frequency game. I've also got a top tip.
Yes,
Want to hear my
yes,
top
I
tip?
love your top tips. I love
Emma's
these
top tips, right? So you know how we talk about energy? In your home, I want you to look, where is stuck energy? Have you got coins laying around in a drawer that you just never pull out? Pull them out, go spend them. Or put them in an account. Do something with them. Have you got jewelry that you just don't wear but it's kind of broken? Give it to the local jewelry school. I just donated bags and bags of old jewelry to a woman who upcycles jewelry.
Cool.
So she's just going to make it into glorious pieces. Not for
wow.
me, but just for anyone. I'm like, have it. It's better than being thrown out. It's better than being stuck in a drawer. Use it. Use your jewelry. I had a whole lot of clothes. I just gave them all these old clothes. I didn't give them to the op shop. I gave them to a school.
Oh, that's cool.
So the school actually, they create things like dresses and stuff like that. So it's a school. So I did that. There was so much stuck. I didn't realize how much stuck energy there actually was in my house, and where I'd stashed just money and coins. They've been sitting there for fucking years and years and years. I'm like, darling, get some fresh air here. Like, let's use you. Let's go out for dinner. So, I got all these coins together, took the kids and Anthony out for dinner. We had so much laughter. So that energy just turned into so much laughter that laughter just energizes for the week. Do you see? So have a look around your house, look around where's some stuck energy.
Yeah.
Have a look in within yourself too. Have you got any stuck energy, stuck emotions, stuck shit that you're not looking at? Have you got any aches and pains in your body, any dis-ease in your body? Because you're stuck emotion, it's stuck energy. You got to get that shit flowing.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great top tip.
Thanks, babe. 2 top tips. Guys, we love you. It's been so lovely. We'll see you in the next podcast.
Yes.
Mwah.